your face, hey Kai. I'm like, wait, when did you become a brain trust? I'm pretty sure you're in Tulsa. But hi everybody, my name is Naomi Sannon. I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts. I moved to Tulsa in 2019, right before the pandemic. So it's been great being around entrepreneurs and just learning about the Tulsa landscape. My background's in global mass communication, and then I went back to school for social work. You're probably thinking like, well, how did you end up in the business fields? I think just being around Tulsa, I would have been a business coach as well as just a career coach for 5+ years when I was back home. Moved to Tulsa, saw the opportunity to work at Building Tulsa as one of their program managers. And then I joined the team almost a year now. So it's been great to be a part of the team and just to learn about how we're supporting entrepreneurs and helping them grow and scale their business.
Love it. And before we get into the presentation, I also wanted to make note of this. I introduced Monique Green, one of our new members, but we also have Tamikwa Whitaker of Queen's Kisses in Tulsa. So thank you so much. She's also a new member, and I just wanted to shout her out. But with that said, I'll go ahead and bring up the presentation if that's all right, Naomi. Yo,
Yeah.
what's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see. Okay, I will share my screen and we'll get this whole thing going. And Naomi, you know how we do, so just let me know when you're ready to move slides, and I'll take care of that for you.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
All right. I guess I'll start now. You're good? All right, perfect. Well, welcome everybody. Like I mentioned, my name is Naomi. I'm one of the programming managers here at Build in Tulsa. And one of the programs that I oversee is called We Build. And you can go on to the next slide, Ryan, if you want. And so I want to give you guys a little bit of background of what We Build is and the mission. So We Build is our women entrepreneur build program accelerator here at Build in Tulsa. It is an accelerator program that's designed to help level out the playing field for women who have been historically denied access to resources and funds. Um, you can go to the next slide. The mission of Build in Tulsa, as well as the mission of the program itself, is to make sure that entrepreneurs are being developed professionally as well as achieving their goals and helping their companies get to a space where they can create generational wealth. And we do that by providing a 13-week course. One more slide back. We do that by providing a 13-week accelerated opportunity here in Tulsa, where we focus on 3 months of business coaching and sessions, as well as mentorship, community, financial literacy, connections to people in the community. And then we also provide access to other people outside of our network. And now you can go on to the next slide. And so the benefit of being a part of our accelerator program is that we believe in supporting an entrepreneur as a whole. So we give you all $25,000 towards your business. There's no strings attached to that award. There's also that 3-month business training that I mentioned. So this will be of 3 months where you're here and based out of Tulsa, will we be able to provide you with courses from 8 to 5. And then a lot of that time, you will have time to work on your business as well. I know a lot of people get worried, like, do I have to quit my job? I personally don't think so, but some people like to use this time to focus just solely on their business, which is great. But we provide you access to our network. If you haven't been to Tulsa, Tulsa's ecosystem is very strong. We usually have 2 other accelerators running at the same time. So there's also other people from other states and different accelerator programs learning alongside you all so you all can connect. It's always a great opportunity for those who are solo founders looking to gain a co-founder. This is definitely the place where you want to be and get that networking. So we provide that opportunity here. We also have a list of mentors, 50 plus mentors here in the community that volunteers their time to sit and talk to you and help you scale and grow your business. Last cohort, we did Mentor Madness, where it was 30 minutes to meet with each of these community leaders, as well as other people who have grown, start their business multiple times, and able to sit down and help our founders grow and scale their business as well. So this year, we're definitely going to do more of a targeted focus where mentors will be able to sit with you consistently to work on you growing your business. I think the goal is to help people with understanding the importance of having that consistent person in your life to grow your business. We also provide legal services, and our legal services are able to help you with your trademarking as well as any legal documents that you need to be put in place for your business. We also offer a co-working space. We have Building Tulsa just got their new, oh, one more time back. Building Tulsa just got their new building. And so it's great that this you'll have a free access to a brand new space where you'll be able to access conference rooms as well as space for your team if you are bringing someone else on your team along with you to utilize the space. There's also financial literacy. We definitely believe in the importance of having a financial model. So someone will be here definitely teaching you about that. And we also know, like, as a founder, it the money is always an issue when it comes to living stipends or when it comes to the cost of living. So we provide living stipends as well as for housing, childcare, and mental health. So that's something that you don't necessarily have to worry about. And Tulsa is very much, I'm not sure if some of y'all been in Tulsa. Tulsa is very much on a lower scale when it comes to apartment shopping and paying for rent. So you can definitely be able to supply. So we provide 1,000 towards that every month. So in total, you'll get $3,000 in addition to the 25K and 500 for childcare if you're bringing along your family or for mental health purposes. And we also provide mental health counseling. We have a therapist on site. You can utilize her however you would like. It doesn't have to be biweekly. It could be weekly. It can also be 2 days a day, two days out the week, however you want to utilize her. So we definitely provide that type of support to make sure you're well as a whole. And you can go to the next slide now.
Thank you. And before we move on, it sounds
Mhm.
like WeBuild touches on a lot of different aspects of resources that founders do need outside of just the money, from being able to provide a space for you to live, childcare support, as well as legal, financial support for your business. We're getting a lot of questions in the chat about this, and I think
Okay.
it's interesting. A lot of people want to know more about the ecosystem as a whole, the business community as a whole, and where WeBuild sits within Tulsa. For those of you who don't know, there are very few spaces in the entire country that are dedicated to providing funding, resources, and acceleration towards Black businesses as a priority. I can't think of any other region that's like that. And Tulsa is really leading the forefront charge to supporting Black founders. So there's the Lightship Accelerator, there's Techstars, there's Atento Capital, there's the George Kaiser Family Foundation that supports a lot of initiatives to advance, Black businesses. Can you speak more about the ecosystem as a whole and where WeBuild sits within that ecosystem, Naomi, before we move on?
Yeah, for sure. So Building Tulsa itself supports Building Tulsa Techstars as well as Lightship that's housed here. So the great thing about this new space is that we're all going to be under one building. So if you ever wanted to learn more about other accelerator partners here in Tulsa, they'll be in this building once you're accepted and you're able to learn more. We also have Act House Accelerator, which is for more of like a pre-seed round. So if you're thinking about WeBuild is like in the middle of that. So it's Act House, where it's very much people who have an idea, are looking to grow that idea very rapidly. Act House will be a perfect fit for you. And then there and WeBuild's right in the middle. I like to think WeBuild and Techstars are really much hand in hand. We focus on the similar things and what we and how we want our founders to grow. I just think we don't Techstars take more equity in people's business. And it's also like a nationally known organization versus we just want to invest in you. We just want to see your business grow. um but yeah, so all those the nice thing about Tulsa is they're all walkable distance. So if you ever wanted to walk and learn more about any of these programs that are being offered here in Tulsa, we're all in the same network. Like you can walk literally less than a mile to get to the Techstars office as well as Act House. And so it's nice to know that they also do recruiting around the same time as us. And so you'll have a lot of people who are coming from out of state, learning about Tulsa and also building their company here. So it's nice to like pick their brain and to see what they're experiencing and how they're going through programming. So hopefully that answers your question.
No, it does. If I can brag a little bit more, it's really a sight to behold when you see so many Black founders that are homegrown and are coming from other cities across the country, actively building their businesses in the heart of Black Wall Street in the
Yeah.
Greenwood District. It's symbolic in a lot of ways. And that connectivity leads to more acceleration for everyone, So there are opportunities if you get into one program to connect and collaborate with other founders, network with mentors in different areas, and vice versa, right? And
Yeah.
ideally founders can, hop around to different resources and bring in capital because that's the goal, right? Everyone wants to scale. And it seems like a lot of these programs, although they're different, can be complementary. with
Yeah.
one another because the goal is the same. But we love We Build. So that's all I wanted to say quickly, but I'll move on to the next slide.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks. Um, and so why I know this question was brought up of like why beauty and wellness. Tulsa itself, the beauty and wellness market is very much growing here. Just like I mentioned, the accelerator partners are within walking distance. I feel like downtown itself is the hub of beauty and wellness. And I wanted to highlight so our two of our founders who were a part of We Build and how they were able to grow and scale their business and become, I would say, pretty much famous here in Tulsa from being a part of our program. So we got Kim Roxy, who's also a Brain Trust member as well, who was able to come throughout the Rebuild, leave the Rebuild program with opening her own shop downtown in a box yard. And it's right, like I mentioned, it's walking distance from here. And it's in the hub of where a lot of people like to seek their beauty and wellness. Like she's right across from like one of the very popular massage therapy organizations, like right across from there. And then we have Angie. Angie's from Los Angeles. She focuses her business on yoga, and she was able to land two top organizations through We Build to have her company show off on. It's Black Tech Week as well as Black Venture Summit that's hosted here. So she was able to leverage that. And she was also able to there is the Guthrie Green that's here that has a lot of health and wellness activities during the summertime. So she was able to land with that. And so it's just a great market for people who are looking to expand in the beauty and wellness, because there's definitely a need here in Tulsa for it. And it's definitely growing if you come out.
And Naomi, I promise I'll be quiet, but I'd
No.
never, skip an opportunity to brag about our folks. Angie Franklin, the CEO of Afro Yoga, is also a Brain Trust member as
Oh,
of last month. So, like Naomi was mentioning, she specializes in curating experiences centered around holistic wellness, namely in yoga, through her app and through her in-person experiences. And the business side of it, she hosts a lot of activations with top organizations to create these yoga and wellness spaces. So she's worked with the NBA, she's worked with a lot of other top organizations, and
yeah.
through WeBuild, she was able to secure two pretty big contracts, which was Black Tech Week hosted by
Yeah.
Lightship Capital. So that put her on their radar for
Mhm.
collaboration, and they've got money, so there's an angle there. And then she was able to also create a wellness space at the Black Venture Summit, where, correct me if I'm wrong, Naomi, there were at least 100 plus Black fund
Yeah.
managers across the country that were there that got a
Mhm.
chance to get full visibility into her operating her business. So the opportunities, presented by WeBuild extend beyond Tulsa and can really help serve to grow your business. So just wanted to shout that out. Kim and Angie, both great Brain Trust founders, are excellent case studies for the benefits of this program outside of just the tangible 1, 2, 3 money, stipend, stuff like that. There's a lot of ancillary things that can lead to the benefit and growth of your business. So just
Yeah,
want
for
to.
sure. And it speaks to the connection, right? So Angie, while she was here, was able to connect with Brian, and Brian was able to get her on board with Black Tech Week. And while she was here, we loved what she did with Black Tech Week. She was able to join in with Black Venture Summit. So it just speaks to how well we connect people as well as founders while they're here. So yeah, so we can definitely talk about program support. Hold on, sorry, if we can go back one more slide. So what separates We Build from other accelerator partners is that support that we offer for our founders. So not only are we supporting founders mentally and physically by giving them connections, we're also making sure that they're well as a whole. So while you're here, there's definitely a high level of support. There'll never be a day where you're going through your day and no one checks in with you. And I think that's what makes our accelerator partnership our accelerator program very unique, is that we literally care about our founders. There is always someone checking in and making sure you're okay, and there's always someone advocating for you on your behalf. So even though you're not physically in spaces, there's meetings that are happening with either fund managers or other accelerator partners, and your name is going to be brought up because you're a part of this network. Especially like the large names here, and because Tulsa is so small, especially like the big names here, it's very easy to get people connected. So I think that's definitely one that set us apart is that we can connect you all to people that you may feel like you don't have access to, but because everyone's very much in tune with your business while you're here and learning about what you're doing, we're able to connect you in spaces that you might not potentially see happening. So that's a plus of why the We Build Accelerator is just a great program to think about as you all are thinking about applying. Oh, and you can go to the next slide. Um, and so when you think about program requirements and timelines, so currently right now we're focusing on tech and tech enabled businesses and CPG. So you all fall under that bucket, which is great. And so thinking of the timeline in January, applications should be open. And once applications are open, interviews will happen in May. And there will be a 2.2 check-in point interview as well. I think we're floating around with an assessment just to help with the connection between cohorts. The last cohort was so well connected. They built a sisterhood. It was great. If you guys have time, definitely check out our Building Tulsa YouTube channel if you want to see their demo day and to see how well they connected. And so we're going to add that process in the interviewing process. And once the interview goes well and you're selected, you'll get notified letting you know that you've been a part of our program. And then the program begins on January 8th. So you'll be here in Tulsa for a 13 to 15 week program. And I'll explain a little bit more about that here in Tulsa on base in the building. Sessions will be happening from 9 to 3. And when I say sessions happening, it's more like morning sessions. And in the afternoon, you're able to implement what you've learned into your business or focus on your business while you're there. The program has a component of an exit survey, which we're asking people just to sit down and talk about their experiences. This is very important, especially when you're getting ready to leave an accelerator program. And so once that 13 week is up, it's the big, I would say, party. Is that demo day where we fly in investors all over. I think Ryan will probably be here. I think you were the last one. I can't remember. A lot of people come out, the community is out, a lot of leaders, community leaders, people who can invest in your company, come out and listen to what you've done within the 13 weeks throughout the program and how they can best invest. And the lovely thing about Demo Day is that we also have what we call VC Day embedded with Demo Day, where you'll have that time to meet with investors one-on-one after Demo Day to talk about your business and see how can they best support.
Yeah. Naomi, this was fantastic. You all probably can already pick up on what I think about the program, but I guess I'm a little biased. So I'll let you all make your own decisions. But I can't emphasize enough the importance of having, a program created by Black women for Black women. And I think that advocacy lends itself to more support and acceleration for some of these businesses. I can't totally say that if the leadership at Build in Tulsa were primarily white males, that some of the, case studies would be the same. And that it would have as high of a ceiling in terms of impact as it currently does. So, the work that they put in to connect with investors all across the country is noted. They've hosted the Black Venture Summit, I think, for 2-3 years now. So yeah, like 2 years. So hundreds of Black investors have come back to Tulsa. They're familiar with the impact. They're familiar with the region. They're familiar with building Tulsa. So the connectivity and the leadership really lends itself to creating great outcomes for founders. So we encourage you all to apply. Naomi, again, great job. You're the homie for many reasons. This one is one, and we will open up the floor for Q&A if you guys have questions. So without further ado, please ask away if you have anything.
Yeah, because I can't see the chat if there is questions.
Actually, you know what? Let's take a step back because Erica has been so patient. She had a couple of questions. So
Okay.
let's see. I'm just gonna go through a couple of these.
Mhm.
Um, Erica wanted to know, does WeBuild have early admissions, like an early admissions process, i.e., can you apply early, and what does the timeline look like for when applications close?
Yeah, there's not really an early application process, but there is an interest form where I can, as I'm talking, can look this up and put this in the chat for you guys. And basically, what the interest form is, it's letting us know that you're very much interested in the program and just giving us a snippet of what your business is all about, right? To make sure you are a good fit. But in terms of like early entry, I wish we did, but not at this time. But I think the interest form will definitely give you some insight about like what like what we're offering for We Build, as well as like giving us insight about you. Will it give you a leg up? I know a lot of people ask me that, like, and I'm like, no, it just gives us better understanding of your business, and for us to better either support you or maybe send you resources that can best support you if you're not a good fit for We Build.
Thank
And
you, said. And another question from Erica was centered around whether WeBuild has support for hardware or IoT. So, as it relates to deep tech, are there resources that founders could expect to leverage in coming through WeBuild so they can grow their companies?
I'm sorry, I missed. I was typing in chat. Could you ask one more time?
Yeah, no, yeah, you're good. Does WeBuild have any support or resources for hardware centered businesses or businesses that leverage like deep technology like IoT? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I definitely think anything you're searching for or looking for, we try to create some type of like interest within the community to make sure we're meeting your needs if you are accepted into the program. I can't personally say that I've seen it. I know we had Joy Harvey detailed in her. She was more of like a car cleaning like service business. So if your business is aligned with that, we're able to connect her with a lot of people. But in terms of like growing and scaling, I feel like a lot of the information we're providing in those 3 month business courses will definitely give you a leg up of like how to, create your business in a way to be more scalable by creating business strategies as well as making sure your operations is running in order and like how to have leadership development. So those things. So I would say yes, if you're accepted in, we definitely work hard to make sure we get you the right connections in order to get to your business to where it needs to go. But if not, we also do provide like other spaces. We'll find the answer somehow, I would say, to get
Love to
you
hear.
where you need to go.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Naomi. And Stephanie, yo, would you like to ask or would you like me to read it off? What do you prefer? Okay, okay, I'm greedy. I'm greedy. Um, does WeBuild take pre-revenue startups?
Pre-revenue startups.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go the political route and say you should apply and see what happens. Just to be on the safe side. Yeah, we are focused we're focused on tech enable and CPG. We necessarily are trying to make sure we're not weeding people out too early or prematurely, if that makes sense, of like what their revenue numbers are and um what series there are in terms of like funding, because we know that everyone needs support, right? Your business could be doing really well in one particular area, but you're probably struggling in another area where you feel like an accelerator program will be great for you. But you can also be one of those people where accelerators shouldn't won't be great, but you just need a coach. So I want to say like we're open. The application is open to everybody. I definitely think applying and that we would take everything into consideration. But I just to be on the safe side, I would say yes, apply. We do. We don't necessarily reject people. But don't be discouraged. Just apply, please. I'm trying to make sure I don't get myself in a hole.
No, no, you're good. To add more color around the question, um, what would your thoughts be on criteria? And you don't have to go super in depth, but as it relates to, especially speaking from the venture side, there are a lot of different ways to assess the potential of a business that isn't just related to revenue.
Mhm.
Traction comes in a lot of different forms in a lot of different ways. So, as founders think through applying, um, does we build as a selection committee emphasize and focus on traction outside of revenue as a potential reason to accept people, or is it primarily just the dollars? What do you say?
I think we do a little bit of both. But we're also looking at the mindset of the entrepreneurs, to be honest. Someone who's coachable, who has that level of grit to actually finish out these 13 weeks and to get their business to where they need to go. Like everyone, when you start the program, everyone was going to have a 30, 60, 90-day goal that they're going to try to focus on. Um, and like I mentioned before, like we had people who were revenue generating in our last cohort that's pretty high, and they just didn't have the knowledge. So we gave them that knowledge. So I think for us, what we're looking for is just a high level of being coachable as well as grit within the program. Um, Yeah, and just being open to learn new things about your business, being okay with people picking at your business to make sure it's going to get to the spot that it needs to get to at the end of the 13 weeks, or like however you envision your business running for a lifetime. So yeah, I think it that part doesn't necessarily matter.
Thank you. I have been talking enough, so I'll turn it over to the floor officially. If you all have any questions, please feel free to come off of mute. Um, and yeah, the floor is yours.
I
Okay.
have a question.
Yeah.
This is Chantel. Can one apply to WeBuild if they were already in a previous accelerator?
Is this Chantel from I see the B. Is that Chantel?
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
you
Hi,
better.
Naomi.
You better apply. Yes, actually, if you've been through one of our accelerator partners, you get a bonus. So
Oh,
it's a bonus point for applying.
enough
So I
said.
definitely, and that speaks to like we're not necessarily looking at the different stages of where people are at, right? So if you don't mind me sharing, Chantel. So Chantel has been a part of Act House, so she's gone through that accelerator program, and I think you also went through Lightship Boot Camp. So she would be an excellent candidate example of like someone who's gone through multiple programs, but probably feels like they're missing something and that we can offer some type of support in order to help grow her business. And so, yeah, if she gets accepted, she gets accepted. And I know, I'm not sure if you guys know about Bounceless. I know I got me one. Their bras are amazing, and she's doing well. And so maybe she needs extra support or maybe a different business strategy idea to change her business where we will can provide that support for her. So,
All of
yes.
the above.
Okay. I'm glad. So yes, we do accept you. You actually get bonus points if you are applying from either like Act House, Building Tulsa, Techstars, like Brain Trust as well. If you're a Brain Trust member, you get those extra points for applying.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for being here. And thank you, Ryan, for asking all my questions earlier. Um, I appreciate that. My question's really about team interaction. So say you're not a solo founder and you have two other co-founders. Are they going to be able to participate actively within a program like this if they are not female identifying? I do have another female co-founder with me, but I have also a male co-founder. I'm trying to understand if it's an open door for him to participate as well, or if it's something that, hey, you can't really participate, but they know you're part of the team. How to have that conversation. And just to give a little bit of a synopsis of what our company is, which is why I was asking about hardware, is that we are an AI driven mirror that has pivoted from consumer to retail. So we help retail stores provide a better customer experience by providing AI and AR focused technologies in a life size functional mirror. So think about it in the sense of a full body mirror that would let you try on hair, makeup, and clothing while you're in a store so you can make up your mind without having to walk the aisles. And that's what we're really working on. But having the right support in place for a hardware product such as ours is a little bit difficult, right? Because we're looking at future, but not everybody wants to play with everything we're doing. And they may want to play with one particular thing. So I'm just trying to get a little bit of a better idea about how you guys deal with outliers and supporting them in that system.
Yeah, your business sounds amazing. Just to put that out there first. So I want to answer your first question about team being a part. So unfortunately, no, he would not to say that we don't love men, but I think it would mess with the team dynamic of all women and this cohort. But your other co-founder can participate if she is a female here in the space. But I also want to say he will also have desk access. So if he wanted to be here to just be in the space, so you guys still feel like a team, I feel like that would be okay. But I can get specifics for you when you apply and make sure that's a process that I answer for you in your interviewing process. I will also put this in mind because I know when people do apply for We Build, there's the understanding that everyone's going to get this living stipend. So just keep in mind, if he does, you all will have to share your living stipend among the three. So if you're not from Tulsa and you guys are moving here from Tulsa, that living stipend will be divided by three for you all to support your living, as well as like childcare and healthcare. But this brings up a good point for the mental health services, which I think will be open to anyone, because we do, like, our therapist is here to support everybody in our entrepreneur network. So I think that he'll have access to that. In terms of like the classes, a lot of our classes are recorded too. Everyone is required to be here in person, but just in case, life does happen, you're able to go back to those recordings to listen in and make sure you're getting caught up with what was being taught in the class. So I would say those are information that you can share with him. I don't see why that would be an issue, but like I said, I can always clarify that for you. In terms of your question about support, we're definitely trying to expand our mentor network. We got in contact with Target, which is great, and they're able to talk a little bit like how to get your product on a shelf. So we'll have that type of resource here enable and connection to connect with you. And like I mentioned before, like if you do get accepted into the program, we find ways and people who can help you with your business. If you don't, we do the same thing. I just don't I wouldn't think that. I just don't want you to think that if you're here it's going to be a waste of time, because we don't have that expertise, but we try to make sure we find that level of expertise here in place if you're in the program.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Anyone else? I'm sure, but I just wanted to, make sure the floor was open. So if you have a
Hey,
question, please.
yes, I have a question. So my first question is, what do we build look for the most when it comes to the application process? And then the second question is, can you speak more about the schedule and what does a typical day look like for a we build participant?
Yeah, for sure. And I can pull up the draft schedule here if that will help you all, or even a last year schedule. So that's easier for you to see. In terms of for the application, what we're looking for, like I mentioned, I think right now our hard priority is mostly looking for people who have a high level of grit, and that it's can be coachable. And in addition to looking for tech and tech enabled businesses. And I know a lot of people get nervous when they're like, well, my business is not tech. I feel like every business could be tech enabled. So finding like unique ways to make sure your business is tech enabled, I'll definitely encourage you all to make sure that's a function that can be added, because that's what we're looking for, as well as CPG, so beauty and wellness, which you qualify because I love your nails. So you would be in there. So no worries on that front. But yeah, we're mostly looking for someone who had, like I mentioned, high level of grit. It is a lot of work. To be a part of the Accelerator program. I'm not gonna lie, days are long, depending if you're also running your business at the same time of being a part of the program. And I think that also speaks to the keyword of like Accelerator. You will have times where your days are longer. You're meeting a lot of people, so your brain, I'm sure, will get fried at some point while you're in the program. But I always think of like your end goal of what you are trying to achieve, and we will be able to provide that for you. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But I think we're looking for definitely someone who is high level of grit, coachable, tech enabled, revenue generating, have a beta type MVP, and yeah, I guess I think that's everything. And I don't know if I could share my screen, Ryan, but
Yeah.
I know you asked about the schedule. And here's what, let's see. Oh, it says you have to stop sharing.
Oh, okay.
All right. Now here's what the format, if you guys can see, looked like last year. So the open blocks are where you're at your desk working on your business, depending on if you just left a session, maybe adding what you learned from that session. We call them sprints, which is essentially homework. You can add that towards your business, use that time to add it towards your business. But Mondays are very much your lighter days, where we have our Monday updates. Basically, all our founders come together. We talk about what's are some successes that you all achieved this year. sorry, this from last week and how everything's going. And you also get to practice your pitch that you'll be pitching for demo day. So that's going to be an ongoing thing. And Tuesdays are your heavier days where you have sessions back to back. You're not at your desk as much. And then Wednesdays, we have wellness and mentoring. That's also a lighter day. And then Thursday is another heavy day with a session, fireside chats. And then there's no sessions on Friday. And then in addition to that, would be like if we have events that we think you all should go to connect and network in Tulsa while you're here. And that's where a lot of our Accelerator partner come in handy, because they do throw a lot of events where you get the opportunity to network with other founders, as well as if someone outside the community is coming over, you also can have the opportunity to meet them at a founder. So we do, I would say, Bill and Tulsa does a lot of partying, not necessarily party, but business partying in terms of connections. We do have a lot of events that happen after hours. So I definitely encourage you all to attend all of those too as well. And that would be on the calendar when you come into the programming. So heavier days, Tuesdays and Thursdays, lighter days, Mondays and Wednesdays, and Friday, there's no programming. And yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Can I ask a couple quick questions?
Yeah.
Hi, thanks so much for giving us this overview. It's super helpful. I'm curious if, well, one, from the component of, you mentioned it's a 13 to 15 week program. So what does residency look like? Are there any requirements around having a company physical presence outside of just, being there for the program timing? And then secondarily to that, can you speak a little bit to, because you mentioned a couple times, grit and teachability or coachability. How are you assessing that? What are some of the hallmarks that you're looking for? Or how are you just even interpreting what that looks like?
I think I got your first question a little bit in terms of like housing here, that you have to physically be here, right? I couldn't, your phone was a little muffled.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
No,
Let me see if I
it could
can.
just be on my end.
No, it's not you. It's totally me because I'm in the car and the car doesn't love me. But wait, I got it. That should be much better. You can hear me better,
Oh,
yeah?
yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that's great.
That was my fault. I apologize. This is what we have to do when we multitask. The question around location and being there 13 to 15 weeks, is there any requirement around the company having like an official presence, like anything that is, changing company address, changing company registration or anything like that that's required for that time frame? Or is it just physically being there? And then the
Yeah.
second question, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was going to answer so I don't forget. My brain sometimes could be like a squirrel.
No worries.
For the first one, yes, no, you don't have to change your company address. You just have to physically be here. For the 13 weeks, you can definitely stay. If your company is located out of state, you can still keep that out of state address. I would just keep in mind for payment, we do in terms of like the 25K when it's being distributed. I would encourage you guys to use your Tulsa address while you're here, because sometimes that check can get sent to your main location of where you signed up originally versus in Tulsa. And I know last year that was kind of hard for some people. So that's the only thing I would recommend is changing your address, making sure when you're filling out the application using the Tulsa address when you're filling out that direct deposit. But yeah, no, you don't have to change anything for your company. You just have to physically be here.
Got you. And then the second question was around just, you mentioned a couple times this idea of grit and coachableness or teachableness. How are you guys assessing that? And what are some of the hallmarks that you're looking for to assess whether or not a candidate has grit or is coachable?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think just our assessment questions of asking questions about your past, of how you've handled, having to pivot or having to make adjustments in your organization, or in your company, and how, like, what were you willing to do in order to make that change? Were you willing to, stay late? Are you willing to actually listen to people's advice? I would say here at Bill and Tulsa, you're going to be introduced to a lot of people who are going to give you ideas about how to better your business and like how to change it up. Like, are you open to hearing that feedback, or are you going to be closed off and say like, no, I know what's right or wrong? And so in terms of measurements, that comes out through the interviewing process, where we ask a series of questions of how you've been flexible in the past, and how would you define grit? Like, what does grit look like to you? Like, is an 8-hour day too long? Are you, like things like that. But hopefully that answers the question. I think we just do assessments around what you've done in the past to see if you're capable.
Got you. So like behavioral interviews.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I would say that. That sounds about right.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Does anyone have any questions? Was there anything that wasn't covered? Oh, actually, I see a question from Denise. I think you had touched on this earlier, Naomi, but just to clarify, is there a specific revenue requirement in order to apply?
No, there's not. You should definitely apply. There's not a specific revenue that you need to reach.
All right. Does anyone else have any other questions? Okay. Well, Naomi, let me know how you feel about it. I think now would be a good time to actually showcase a recap of last year's cohort before we close. Would it be cool if we show that video?
Yeah, for sure. I would love to show you guys. Get my screen ready here.
Thank you. Now, bear in mind, everyone, it is a 6-minute video. So if you have to hop, all good. If you want to stick around and watch the video and hang on for a couple more minutes to ask questions, please feel free to do so. But we're running until the hour. So thanks.
All right. Hopefully you guys can hear the audio. Let me know if it doesn't come through.
We are so excited to be here on the first day of We Build.
It would be nice if it could.
Oh, this is a dream almost.
Sorry, y'all. Let me try it again.
All good. I think it was working earlier.
Yeah. Oops. Let's try it. Okay, let's try this.
And Naomi, if you want to DM it to me, I could try. There we go.
Almost 2 years in the making.
Let me
We're so excited to be
Does it
here
work?
on the first day of We Build. This is a dream almost 2 years in the making, where we sat down and said, what can we do that centers Black women entrepreneurs? Black women are the fastest growing segment of entrepreneurs in the country, but they still don't get near enough resources. They get 0.5% of venture capital, and that's a narrative we're definitely trying to rewrite.
It looks like there's some lag here.
Black space created, Black women by Black women. Girl, on the head. Well, welcome to Me Build, but I wanted you guys to be able to see what we have provided for you today to get you started on your journey with We Build and build a Tulsa to do what Catherine Finney said and build the damn thing.
Naomi, it's breaking up a little bit. Maybe we can go ahead and just copy the link, potentially, and throw it in the chat. Or if not, I can just add it to the recap email that I'll send out.
Okay, I could try that. I probably have to download it. Because it's in a shared drive. Yeah, I could try.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Got you. All right. Well, I think it is breaking up, and it is 6 minutes. If it were like a minute, I'd be like, yeah, we could write it out. Yeah. But it is 6 minutes. So I'll walk through. Maybe we can just debrief afterward, and we'll talk about how we can, just disseminate this to the entire community from there. But
yeah, for sure. It is on the YouTube website, on the Build in Tulsa website. So if you wanted to, not the YouTube page. So if you go to Build in Tulsa YouTube, I believe it's up there. It basically talks about how the program came to light, and it shares also the entrepreneurs, like their experience coming in and what they're looking forward to being a part of We Build, and yeah, just their journey getting into Build in Tulsa.
Yeah, awesome. I'll just share that link. That'll give you all some more views, and it's probably an easy format for everyone. So
yeah,
sure.
Sorry, y'all.
No, it's all good. We appreciate it nonetheless. But before we hop, does anyone else have any questions about the program, requirements, anything that isn't clear? Now is a good time to ask. Once, twice, 3 times? Okay.
Real quick, my question is super quick. How many people are a part of the program each year?
That's a good question. So we are selecting between 8 to 10 founders.
Okay. Awesome.
I have a Just social question. What's your favorite part about living in Tulsa?
My favorite part about living in Tulsa, the warm weather. It's like 58 degrees right now, and I have to go home next week, and it's gonna be like 30 degrees. I'm not excited about that. But Tulsa also has beautiful scenery. If you like to be outside, we have a lot of beautiful scenery. The Gathering Place is one of my favorite places to go. It's one of the biggest park in America. It's like named, what was it, number 1 or number 2? I can't remember. All my Tulsa people is on there. You guys can probably answer. Um, but yeah, and I do love. I I know I work here, and you probably think it's biased, but maybe it is. I love working at Building Tulsa and being around Black and Brown founders and just being this community. Every day you get to wake up to look at people who look like you doing the best with their business, and it's just amazing. Oh look, Kim is here. So it brings me joy to see that happening here in Tulsa, in addition to the nice weather and the friendly people.
Naomi, not to put you on the spot, but
Mhm.
it would be interesting if you could speak a little bit to how the city of Tulsa like is in terms of its community. There are a lot of people with the Tulsa Remote program that transition to the city, and it's very friendly to people that are new. And what thoughts or feedback would you have to someone who's in Tulsa? How do they get plugged in? How do they get connected to the spots? Like, I had to go through my little journey to figure out who was cool and who was, the person to go to. But how have you approached that as someone who moved to Tulsa, and what feedback would you give to people about the culture?
Yeah, I definitely think plugging in as much as possible. Tulsa offers you a lot of opportunity to plug into the community. I think when I first got to Tulsa, one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to learn as much as possible. So I joined Type Rose, was Tulsa Young Professional, as their board member. And that gave me access to all the things that were happening downtown here in Tulsa. And I actually got to have a board experience, so sitting on a board for 2 years. And there's also Leadership Tulsa, which gives you like the landscape of Tulsa of what you should know in those classes. Yes, you do have to pay for them, but there's just a great way to get plugged into the community and know what other people are doing if you're not in a network. And you did mention Tulsa Remote. Tulsa Remote, if you guys don't know, is a amazing program. They'll give you $10,000 to relocate here to Tulsa if you are. Don't quote me. I think this part is being added or adjusted. If you are a founder or are a tech business or you're working remotely, you get to relocate to Tulsa for $10,000. And that also brings a lot of community as well. And like I mentioned, like everyone, if you're downtown in any of those organizations, you'll get plugged in no matter what. I think it's just being open and willing to explore a different city and meet new people. I learned for me, like a lot of people don't believe me, I'm an introvert, but just because I'm out and about doesn't mean that I'm socially and I'm just out there. I just like to meet new people on a one-on-one stance. But once you're in, they like suck you in. But you have to be willing to meet new people and get out there and explore. I definitely think once you're here and you're a part of the We Build program, using your Fridays and Saturdays to explore the city, as well as get connected with people who are not necessarily in the ecosystem. For like example, like a Type Rose or a Leadership Tulsa, so you get to see what the city's all about, and you'll learn that a lot of people here are supporting and rooting for people to be successful. So I definitely think going outside of Tulsa and meaning downtown Tulsa. Tulsa's very small, y'all. Like you'll bump into the same person 3 times in one day. So making sure like you're not always staying downtown while you're here, going out, going to the Gathering Place, going on a hike to Turkey Mountain, checking out the south side of Tulsa with La Fortune, a 3-mile walk if you like to walk. Some of my Tulsa people, you can talk about other stuff that's happening here. There's always events happening, especially on the lawn of Guthrie Green. There's free fitness classes, checking out your local gyms, going to the gyms, making community there. Yeah, there's just so many other ways to navigate this city. So
I've met also a couple of really cool musicians. There's like a really interesting emerging arts music space out there, which is pretty dope. So yeah, I think if you seek it, you'll be able to find it in Tulsa. That's what I've learned, in my many visits down to the city.
yeah, absolutely. Everything is just a seek away.
Yep, yep, yep.
Can I
Alicia,
ask, sorry,
go ahead.
just one more question. I was so looking at your timeline, for the people, it said like interview in May and then coming in June or July. How far in advance with people know, because May to that time is not that many weeks, especially if you're relocating.
We try to get the information out as quickly as possible. The goal is to let you know at least 3 weeks in advance that you have been selected. I know last year that we did it a 2 week window and people were able to come. And if you're selected to go to the second round, you'll definitely get an information packet that lets you know like places you want to look for rent, how much rent is costing. So it's easier for you to have that selection, to know where you're going to live essentially. And like places to go, like places to eat, just in case. So you'll have all that information beforehand to make your transition a little bit smoother. But yeah, you're right. It is a quick timeline, but it worked for some.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I just had a quick question, kind of jumping off of that. What would I've only ever lived in big expensive cities, but like what would you say is like the cost of living for the people who have like relocated to your program? Like, what do people normally pay for rent? I'm used to New York prices that are crazy, but I know the rest of the country shouldn't be like that, I hope. So just for
Yeah.
some perspective so we can start planning around it just in case.
Yeah, no, girl, I'm from Boston. When I came here, my rent was like $770, and $730, and I was like, wait, dollars? And so it's fairly cheap. Yes, Tulsa cost of living is low. It did go up a little bit down. I will say downtown is a little bit pricey. So if you don't have a vehicle, yes, downtown will be accessible, but you won't have to pay more than like 1,100. You can definitely get a good spot, 1,100 downtown, actually livable. I would even encourage like living with someone while you're here for 3 weeks, because then that person could probably take you around town as well. Find like a roommate situation. It would be ideal if it's someone like from like a Techstars or Act House, because then you guys are talking both about your experience. But yes, the cost of living is very cheap here. You'll definitely be able to find something with the living stipend that we all provide for you for the 3 months. So yeah, you'll definitely be fine. From New York, you're gonna be like, what am I gonna do with all this free money?
Okay, yeah, because that was $1,000. I said that can't get me a shoebox here.
Girl,
I love to see it.
yes, there are people moving. And I think because a lot of people are moving here from New York, LA, and Dallas, as well as Boston, and like on the East Coast region, that the housing market did go up a little bit here, but they were, like I said, people were paying like 2,300, and come to Tulsa, it's like under $1,000, and that's with utilities included. So you'll be fine, trust me.
Awesome, thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Y'all hear me real good?
Yes.
Okay, for those of us with cheering in tow. So the child care stipend thing, do y'all have like a preferred list of daycare people y'all use? Is on-site child care? I gotta scramble and find somebody real quick to put my toddler in.
That's a good point. I'm gonna try to make a list of childcare services that are accepting our stipends, actually. That's a good point. But last year, a lot of our founders who did have children, luckily they all lived here in Tulsa, so they knew all the hot spots of where you can go to drop your kid off. But yeah, I'll make a list of that. That's a good point. And thank you for asking that question of where to host for childcare. Yeah, childcare is not on site. You'll definitely have to go off sites for childcare. But we'll provide you a stipend for that, so you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. For those who balance the business and have a 9 to 5, how realistic is that? I saw the schedule, it seemed very extensive. My 9 to 5, sometimes there are meetings where I have to go to versus, I don't, and I can always maneuver it. What is your advice on people who have 9 to 5s and get accepted into the program?
Yeah, that's another good question. My answer to this question might not be, I guess, I'm just gonna say it, and hopefully you guys take it the right way. Not trying to be mean or anything like that. I think prioritizing. I literally just taught a session about this, of what you're committed to, on what you actually want to achieve in 2024. It is 13 weeks. I would advise looking at your calendar and seeing like when you can take time off, or if your manager or director is able to give you that flexibility of using this as like a professional development, because you will be having professional development in terms of like leadership courses that you can take. So those are ways you can maneuver with your paid organization to help to make sure that you're able to take these sessions. But I would definitely have a hard sit down of like what you're wanting for the next year. It is 13 weeks. It's 4 days out of that week. And then you also do have desk time. So if you're working remote, I definitely would encourage like using those open desk spots to do your 9 to 5 if you need the money. And I'm also not a pro advocate of quitting your job because you want to, start your business and you need the funds. If you need the money, you need the money. But I do think just prioritizing your time, and you try to every loophole as possible, letting your organization know that you're doing this for professional development. Because like I said, there are a lot of stuff that you are going to learn can be transferable to your organization, because it's going to be stuff that you're going to need to run your own business as well. And so it could be something that could be used on their site if you guys feel like you're trying to figure a way out. But I would advise just writing down what you actually want, like what do you want to do? And if starting your business and focusing on your business 100%, then yes, I think applying for the program, but also understanding the risk of potentially going on a leave of absence for a long time, like how will your organization view that? Which is very normalized too, by the way. So you can definitely ask for a long leave of absence at your job and they will grant it to you. So I think weighing all those out, and if it's not possible, making that hard decision of leaving just to focus 13 weeks on your business, and hopefully well, I know I'm really confident that your business will grow and you'll be all right. But yeah, that's what I'll look at. I'll look at your finances. If your job offers opportunity for you to do a long leave, figuring out ways to utilize the open desk blocks, to see if you can use that with your calendar. And if that works, I would make it work. But if it doesn't, I would, make it have a good reflection time.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And we've got one more question before we wrap up from Alicia. Alicia, do you want to ask?
Oh yeah, I was just asking, and I maybe you answered this before, but if a company has two founders, do both founders need to relocate, or can one relocate and maybe the other one is a visiting founder, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's encouraged that you both are here, but like I said again, like if you both do relocate here, you just know that you'll be splitting that living stipend, and the childcare and mental health stipend as well. We did have one founder last year who only one of them was a representation of their company, and then during demo day, that other person came out. Like that's perfectly fine. That's okay. It all depends on like how you all want to split your funds.
Okay, and then just following up, would if the other founder's not in person, there's no like virtual aspect of it or anything like that. We just have to kind of hear from our partner.
I'm sorry, ask your question one more
I
time.
said if one of the founders wasn't in person, there's no like virtual aspect of participation. We just would have to like hear from the one that's on location about what they
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
Okay. Mhm.
There is. Some of the sessions will have Zoom capability, but not all of them. And that's in those Zoom like it's more of like you've spoken to myself or Desiree, who's the programming director, that you're not able to come in. Like we are really emphasizing that you should be here in person. And so for you in your case, like if your co-founder decides just to send you as a representation and they want to stay online, that's perfectly fine. Just let us know and I'll make sure he or she will have all will have all the Zoom information to join all the sessions.
Well, all right, everyone. Thank you so much for attending today's session. Naomi, great job as always. Thank you so much for taking the time. Please be sure to apply to the WeBuild Accelerator. So keep a watchful eye on your email. Stay tuned for when that application is going to be dropping. You'll be hearing from us. And thank you all so much. We'll be having our next session on Wednesday, the 20th of next week, where we host our Founder Friday virtual coffee chat. Tracy Green will be providing some insight on her business and talking about her founder journey. We're going to be giving some updates about some exciting things going on within the studio as well. So stay tuned. thank you all so much, and we'll see you next time. Take
Yeah.
care.
Is it okay if I drop my LinkedIn in the chat here?
Oh, yeah.
Connect, as well as my email for Building Tulsa. If you have additional questions about the We Build Accelerator, feel free to email me. And I'm happy to help as much as possible.
All right. And I'm also going to throw in the YouTube link that Stephanie was so kind to link. Thank you for that. And yeah, everyone, we will see you next time. Boom. All right, everyone,
Bye.
bye.
Bye. Oh, it's still recording.
Oh yeah, let me turn this off real quick.